right, I think we should be good. Just make sure everything's squared away, and we are good. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. Welcome back to another Jedi Academy. I am your host, Ranger J, 1999, part of the RSG crew, and we're glad to have you guys here. Everybody in chat, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is the Jedi Academy, where we're basically a Q&A show, where we just bring everyone, content creators, experts, everything like that together to answer your questions. That's right, this is a Q&A show, and the way it works is basically if you have a question for our esteemed panel, all you need to do is put in your question in the chat, and by doing so, make sure you put the word question in front of your statement so we can get it scooped up, because if you don't, we're going to miss it. We use Nightbot, and the only way to get your question answered is make sure that you have the word question in front of your question. It's just the way it works, so make sure you do that so you can help us to get your questions to these awesome panelists. That being said, let's introduce everybody, and before I do, make sure you guys give a thumbs up and subscribe, all that other good stuff. Alright, so scooping up the questions and helping me out today, of course, is the troll extraordinaire, Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman.
Hello. Ranger, I think you need to change Zoom to show non-video.
I'm already working on it.
Okay. Then, hi, everyone.
Yes. There's just a big finity in the middle of the damn screen, and nobody wants to see that for the whole 2 hours. That'd be ridiculous. Also joining us today, we've got all the way from somewhere up the mountains in Colorado, in the United States, maybe he's on vacation. We don't know. Maybe he's in witness protection. We just don't know. I'm talking about Scissorman Warrior himself from Warrior Presents, Mr. Warrior.
What's going on, you guys? How's it going today?
What's going on? Also joining us, we've got from, well, she's not really a Jedi. She's not really a Sith. I'm sort of calling her a Bendo. Jedi Master Adasha is with us as well.
Good morning.
Yes.
No, don't call me that.
I'll call you whatever I want.
Well, you know that can go two ways, right?
Yes. So, but I'm a Sith, so I'm evil. So therefore, it won't bother me like it will you, Lady Adastra.
Call him Porg Lover Ranger.
Finn, I was nice to you yesterday. Don't make me regret it.
I also know he loves Eth Koth, so...
you know that's a bunch of garbage. He's a garbage thing, too. Get out of here.
So what happened to your Sith and nothing will bother you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it doesn't bother me. You know better. I'm correcting your monkey ass. That's a difference. But yes, I was nice to Finn yesterday. He was having a bad day, so I let the porg flow through everybody and let him have his porg moment.
And then Jedi Consular Finn made an appearance.
It just ruined it. Just absolutely ruined it. So,
did you Gear 13 your consular yet, Finn?
Not yet. I got him to Gear 12, 3 of 6, and now I'm working on the Gear 12 Plus and the finishers. So, soon.
Yeah, here's a public
Very
service.
nice.
Yeah, public service announcement for you boys and girls out there. Don't do those two characters with Gear 13 first. You're gonna make me very angry when you start getting stomped in GAC. So don't do it. So the more you know. I think Zalo should be on his way. Maybe some other panelists will show up, but we'll start with this, with what we got, which is more than enough. So start getting your question. Oh, the questions are coming in hot and heavy, Finn. Look at that. Look at all those people with all those questions. Thank you for joining us this morning.
I'm grabbing them.
Oh, I know you are. I know you is. I got backup. I got Nightbot ready just in case Finn fails us.
But not as much as 3PO and Hermit Yoda with Nest.
All right. You know what? Seriously. No. Don't. Just don't. I haven't had my coffee this morning, Finn. My back is out. You know when my back is out, I'm in terrible pain. I will find you. And I will harm you. So, alright. What's not a lot going on this week. Just GAC, TW.
Carrie.
Well, I was being ironical, Finn, but yeah. Didn't even let me finish. You just threw it out there. So, okay, so let's talk about the Carrie thing. Finn, you brought it up. I'll bring it to you. What about the Carrie thing, Finn?
It's sad to see her go. I mean, we voiced our opinion a lot on our stream, so I don't want to take away from the rest of the panel, so I'll let them kind of...
I was asking you to transition to the guests, but you just dropped the ball on that one, so you're
No,
over
I'm about to, see? That's what I just said. So I'm not going to speak too much about it. I'm sad about it. But Warrior, what did you think about Carrie leaving and just overall thoughts on the whole reaction by the community?
I'm not really sure 100% how the community's responded. I mean, it looks like that there's a few people out there that are like, "Oh, that's sorry," and then there's more people that are like, "Yay" or whatever. I don't really know. I try to stay plugged into other sources, and I've been on vacation for 2 weeks, so I've been plugged into my family and hanging out with family and stuff. So I heard she left, and I was kind of like, well, I kind of expected that from an administrative standpoint. It's I don't know. It's one of those things where I had a lot of interaction with her, being that I was the only. You got to remember, I've known her for years, and I was the only whale game changer for a very long time. All the other guys touted their free-to-playness. Arnold did, Cubs Fan Han did, Mobile Gamer did. All three of them started spending just in the last year. Less than a year, actually, for all three of them, and they've all kind of turned to the dark side. But they used to all be free-to-players, and they used to brag about that really hard. But because of that, they had a different perspective. So it's not a bad thing, just a different thing. And for me, I'm proud. I'm not gonna say something or whatever. I'm happy that I can support the game and I enjoy it, and I have disposable income for it, and I've had a good time, and I've never shied away from that, and I could give two craps what people think. So, and I have been very outspoken whale, and she knew that, and so we've talked by phone multiple times. We've had private Discord chats, just her and I. We've talked about a lot of stuff. She actually really cares about the whale community, because obviously they make the company the money. Nobody else does. And so if somebody is going into your restaurant and 9 people are eating for free, and there's the one guy over there that's taking the tab for everyone, you kind of want to see how he's doing, and you want to kind of talk to him and say, "Hey man, how you doing? Is the food good enough? Are you happy with it? That kind of thing. I really appreciate you paying for those other 9 people over there. It's a really kind thing to do." So you kind of treat them differently than the people with the free stuff. You go, "Hey, here it is. It kind of is what it is. He ordered you 12 pizzas. Enjoy it or don't enjoy it. It is what it is." You know what I mean? That's the best analogy I can give. And so she talked a lot to us, and so I had a lot of dialogue with her. Well, there was a lot of change for good in the game that came from conversations that she's had with both me and tons of other whales. And most of the whales want what's best for the community at large, not just a whale advantage, unlike what most people would think. What they really want is cheaper access to stuff, which I think everybody, including just the little bitty dolphins, want as well. So there was a constant push for that. But she was pretty receptive of getting information and trying to move it out. Their biggest issue has been and will continue to be rolling any changes out. It takes them like 6 months to roll anything out. That's just how long it takes them. And I don't know if there's other development teams that are this slow, or if it's a consistent thing across all development teams, or if this is just a Capital Games thing that they're just especially slow. But when they decide they're going to do something, they put it into motion. It takes them forever to fix it. That's where these quality of life things, it took a year to do a little bit, and then a year to do another little bit, and some of them seem so innocuous. But so she was open and receptive, and so I liked that. If you're going to be a lead design person, you're going to run the show, you really have to have open to that creativity. The problem is that same communication that led to a lot of those good changes also was taken personally by her many, many times over. And I often found myself in a conversation where she was like, well, but people are saying this and this and this. I'm like, you can't take it personally. Like, constantly having to tell you can't take that personally. Like, why are you taking that so hard? Like, that's just their frustrations with the game. Even if they, are saying, CG sucks or EA sucks, and you're an EA employee and a CG employee, like, you gotta separate yourself from that. As management, you kind of have to. Just like as a YouTuber, people will get on YouTube and be like, "You suck balls," and you just have to kind of have thick skin and learn to kind of separate yourself from that, because, it's a public position. It's just like any other public position. There's going to be people that love on you and people that hate on you, and you have to be able to just, cut through that diatribe. But she struggled with that. But to say that she was terrible or didn't do a good job or anything like that, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I feel like while she was here, she was very productive. I felt like she tried to do a lot of changes for good. I felt like there were a number of things that were implemented that if we looked back, you'd go, if you knew Carrie was responsible, you'd go, well, damn, she did fix the game for better. There are literally hundreds of things that got implemented over the years. So, I wouldn't say I'm sad to see her leave, because I think that she's got a skill set, a high quality skill set. I just think she's probably going to be better suited somewhere else, where her skills can be utilized, where she's not going to get publicly pummeled, because that was her kryptonite. Every time she got publicly pummeled, she'd go have a few beers and then she'd get on Twitter, and that was like, no, don't do that. It was like she's the Donald Trump of our game. So I think she'll be great somewhere else, and I think she's going to lead another, some other department really, really well. Because I think she has skills. I just think customer facing, forward facing is probably not the absolute best, position for her. But Godspeed in whatever she decides to do moving forward.
Well said.
Yeah, and I think Carrie mentioned something similar, like when we interviewed her, like a couple years ago now. She mentioned exactly what you're talking about, Warrior, that she does try to read everything and listen to everything, and sometimes she does take it a little personal. So, and it's I don't know what your impression was, Warrior, and then Adastra will get what your take on it was. Did Carrie have to be publicly facing in her position? Because I know there was always like a community manager, right? And we had Cozy Spoon before, and EA Jesse was kind of doing some stuff, but not as much. But it was mainly Cozy Spoon supposed to be community manager. Crumb, I don't know what exactly the role was, but I kind of felt like Carrie tried to do a lot in publicly facing, even though she may not have had to a lot of times.
Yeah, actually, so part of this whole situation is kind of actually her strength of owning stuff. Her strength in owning stuff, which is, trust me, that's a strength. And in today's day and age, nobody owns anything. They're like, here's that person, or that person's supposed to do that. She didn't do that. She didn't shirk anything. And that is actually to her detriment, because in this situation, as a manager, she's an overseer. She had to hire and manage a public-facing community that was the community manager team. And there, for a while, wasn't any community manager. Then they'd get one, and then that one would kind of fizzle out, and they get another one. And you just mentioned 3 of them that we've had. We even had Rydigs, a few others. So she kind of owned it. She kind of said, you know what, the community's begging for more communication, and at this point in my life, we don't have any community manager, so what am I going to do? Well, bottom line, I run the show. I need to get out there and talk to the community. That is a strength. That's actually a good thing. And I give her all the kudos in the world because she stepped up. But the problem is, once you step up, everyone gets to know you. Oh, Carrie, who's that? Oh, she's the one who runs the show. Oh, okay. And all of a sudden, she becomes kind of, internet famous for this game, and everyone knows her. Well, once you're in the limelight, people start tagging you, people start talking about you, people start following you on Twitter, people start talking to you on Twitter, and all of a sudden there's this relationship, and now you're in the public limelight, and you can't get out. So once you start it, you can't put that back in the bottle. And she did a good job of stepping up. The problem is it needed to be kind of retransferred to another team, and that's the other problem with Capital Games right now, is their communication. It always has been bad, and it probably always will be, because it's like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and the right hand is the community management team, and the left hand is everybody else. And, they have a hard time communicating effectively what is happening and staying on top of that communication. It's like they get all this communication prepared, they give it out, and then they go like 3 months without communicating anything. And that's the problem. So they have some opportunities, some huge opportunities. But there's, a lot of people have these long diatribes on the internet. I didn't make a rant video. I felt no need to do that. So I think they're going to be fine. They just have to find somebody who can come in, run the show, and keep himself distanced or keep herself distanced from, the drama, and just run it as a business should be ran, and let the community manager, do their job. But they need to have more group meetings or something throughout the day, so that way the community manager has a little more info daily to share with the community, so the community is not so, left high and dry and then dumped with info and then left high and dry, that kind of thing.
All right. And now, Miss Adastra? Miss Jedi Master Adastra. I ain't calling you Sith. What are your
Lady
thoughts
Adastra.
on the departure of Carrie?
Yeah, I mean, it was unexpected. I mean, obviously, I don't have the same level of interaction as Warrior does with her, so we always see, what she posts, and she was very involved in the community. Like, so it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna step up in her place, because their communication, yeah, it would just come and go, and she would try to be out there, and because she really loved this game, it seemed like. I mean, I interacted with her very little. She was a part of a server for a bit that I was on, and she was super accessible, very friendly, and cared about the people and the game. And then, of course, the game itself, yeah, there's always questionable decisions. They can't please everybody, the changes. But as far as games go, I mean, I've been impressed for this mobile game, how much they can cram into this and the changes they have made over the span of just a few years now. Like, it's pretty impressive, honestly. Like, say what you will about the game, but overall, it's really not that bad. Like, if you look at other mobile games, they've come a long ways. And yeah, I mean, I hope for certain changes that may or may not ever happen, because I care about the game too. We all have our opinions of what we hope to see. But as far as the face of the game, yeah, Carrie, I'm not sure who's gonna really step up and be the new communications person. Like, they really need, I think they've kind of struggled with that, like having that consistent presence. But at the same time, I bet it's partly because of the bashing. Reddit can be a pretty crazy place, of course. And just in general, people are very passionate about this game, and they'll just attack whomever, whenever, but I'm hoping whoever takes the helm will keep trying to make changes for the better, try to listen to the people, and we'll see. I mean, it's, there's always those jokes, like, how many years does this game have left? I'm hoping it's still a good number of years. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Me too.
All right. Well, we've been collecting the questions, Lordfinity. Let us begin. We'll start with Warrior and then go back to Dasher, and back and forth we go. So, Finnan, what's our first question?
All right. So, Warrior, first question is from Paparazzi, and her question is, my opponent in GA has an almost identical roster to mine. What kind of defenses should I set?
Well, that is, how are you, by the way? It's kind of a vague question, because I guess I don't know Paparazzi's roster perfectly, but if it's a mirror match situation, where you all have the same, my suggestion is, well, it depends actually on how high her GP is too. Honestly, I like to make my opponents on my main account, where I'm, a big roster, I have like everything. I like to make them earn it. So I like to put all the very best. Like I have Gear 13 Nightsisters. I've got, Gear 13 Sith Empire up front. I've got Gear 13 General Grievous, Droid Team. I want them, if they're going to beat me, and they do, I just want them to earn it. That's it. They can whoop my butt. That's fine. I'm okay with losing. It's all good. I have never said I'm the best player ever. So that's fine. But I want them to earn it. I don't want them to come in and, walk through like a second-rate bounty hunter team, because I want to keep all the very best on offense. And then there's counters for everything, right? So a lot of people keep, Padme to either kill General Grievous, Nightsisters, or Darth Revan teams, or they'll keep, regular Revan to kill either General Grievous teams, or Nightsisters, or some other team. Some people use it for the Sith Empire. So there's like all these counters. You got to keep just as many good teams on offense as you do defense. But for me, on my Scissorman account, because my team is much smaller, I have a lot less open, I have less teams to set, I like to take my A team, which is like my best team, my arena team. I like to keep that for offense. Because almost always, on that team or that thing, they set their offense, their arena team on defense, and that's smart. I get that because it makes it like an impenetrable wall for most teams. But I want to be able to beat it and clear. So I keep my A team, which is my arena team. Then you always have like 2 other teams or so that, you know, you've worked up and developed that are, you know, pretty dang good. I would consider them basically almost arena team viable, but they're just a step down. Those are my first line of defenses. And so for if you're bigger roster, you might have 4 of those teams. But, you know, for her, I don't know what she has, but what I would do is I would set standard type teams that people are kind of used to seeing. You know, but maybe tweak them a slight bit. So maybe put bounty hunters with a Bosk lead, but instead of Bosk lead, maybe put Jango lead and throw Nest in there. You know, just to make sure that they're, you know, not using Imperial troopers to take it out. And you're like, what? Because they have a, you know, a 280 Stark or something like that. You know, put the Old Republic in there, but maybe put a Nest in Old Republic. So that way, if you think they're using the bugs to kill your Old Republic, you kind of throw a wrench in that. Just, you know, different things like that. But there's a lot of basic defensive teams that are out there, but without knowing the size of roster, what you have, and all that kind of stuff is kind of hard.
But also keep in mind mods too. Like even if someone has the same characters, you could put like that. Again, since like you said, we don't see their roster, they could have superior mods to the opponent or vice versa. And that would greatly impact what they do too.
Next question for Lady Adastra.
All right. So, Miss Adastra, the question is from Danilo Papayas, and his question is, at what point should I change my arena team from Jedi Training Rey to Darth Revan? My Jedi Training Rey is all gear 12. Darth Revan is gear 12 for Marauder and Trooper, with the other 3 at gear 11.
Right now, probably.
As soon as possible.
I mean, that's awesome that you've been running JTR still. I mean, I'm assuming you're taking down, you know, because that can take down Jedi Revan, but JTR taking down Darth Revan, it's kind of a tall order there. So not really knowing what your arena is like, but in general, Darth Revan, you want to run him as soon as possible because that's the strongest team to run right now. Granted, I mean, Gear 11 is okay. I mean, yeah, I know there's all those Gear 13s now, but Darth Revan team is very strong.
Oh, he just posted that he typoed. He meant JKR, not JTR, so it's Jedi Knight Revan. Okay, there we go. That makes a little more sense. I was thinking the same thing, but he put it twice. Yeah, he put it twice too, JTR. I was like, okay, so I guess he really means JTR, okay? But no, he meant JKR. There we go.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive that you know JTR for this long.
It is.
Science!
Okay, well, that does kind of change it a little, because obviously Jedi Knight Revan, it's still very viable, and you know, if you're defeating the Darth Revans, I mean, that's really awesome, because for the Darth Revan mirror matches, it really comes down to modding, and it can be kind of annoying if you are the slower one. It's very tough unless you throw in, you know, like Grandmaster Yoda for the speed, and so it's basically dependent on your arena right now, and that if you are consistently winning with your Jedi Knight Revan, if you're climbing up through those Darth Revan, you know, stick to that for now until your Darth Revan team is the stronger of them. Like, if because defensively, Darth Revan will do better. Because unfortunately, Jedi Knight Revan does not hold at all against Darth Revan. They just chew right through it. So defensively, you do want to get your Darth Revan up there as strong as possible. But if you're defeating Revan now with your Jedi Revan, that's awesome.
He is saying he is not. He is neither defeating Jedi Knight Revan nor Darth Revan, really.
Oh, come on!
That's because the dark side's stronger.
Oh, that makes me sad now.
Good. Your tears are delicious.
Like, Like, you should PM me. We'll get your Jedi team killing.
Yeah, you still should be able to use a Jedi Knight Revan team to kill Darth Revan team. It gets tricky with Gear 13 Malik, but it can be done.
In that case, yeah, I definitely get your Darth Revan viable as soon as possible. Then, just for the ease of the climbing. Like if you're having trouble killing stuff, then yeah, or like I said, talk to me. We can help you. That makes me sad. I mean, I kill stuff with my Jedi, and as long as I can do that, forever in this game, I'm happy.
What's gonna happen when you can't, Lady Dasha? What's gonna happen?
There is no can't. Jedi will always find a way.
Do or do not. There is no try.
But no, seriously though, I mean, that's pretty rough though. If you're struggling like that, then you definitely need to get your Darth Revan, because it's much easier. That team is just insane.
It is pretty insane. Hey, look everyone, look who joined us. It's Stoner Jedi Xylo Takedown. You're a roboto. What did you do?
Are you there? Are you alive?
He's there. He's turning into a robot.
Try again, Xylo.
He's Xylo Grievous.
Kenobi. Xylo, is the apprentice choking you? And if not, why not?
I think the answer is yes. That's why he can't answer.
See what happens when you make me angry? My apprentice gets medium on that ass. All right, we'll just go back up to our man running with Scissor Man Warrior.
All right. So, Warrior, question from Jason Krolick. He says, which Geos do I need to take to Gear 13, and which can I leave at Gear 12?
Well, I think the answer is all of them. If you like them and enjoy them, take them all, because they all are viable. Poggle is actually, after the rework, really good. Hits really hard. He's the second hardest hitter behind Spy, and then Soldier. And Soldier, calls assists every other turn. Like, it's just a really, really, really amazing team. I've killed, Gear 13 Old Republic with it at Gear 12. I've killed Gear 13 Nightsisters with it at Gear 12. So this team, it kills Jedi Knight Revan at Gear 12. I have it's like leftover mods. Everything in my mod inventory, I stole from no one. I went into my mod inventory and just put what I could on them. They've got like 60 to 80 plus speed. They've got like, plus 400 on offense. Like, this is trash mods. It'd be good for my alt account, but it's not good for my main account. And it still chews through basically everything but, the Darth Revan team and like maybe a Gear 13 General Grievous because of the amount of AoEs, if it's a Gear 13 Grievous. So the team's so powerful. And after the rework, Sunfac, has, some stagger and stun and some other stuff. And like I said, the only thing this team missed, what didn't have, was debuffs. And they added that to the characters with the last rework. So it's a worthy team to take to Gear 13. And if someone puts them on defense in the back row and you didn't know they were there and you used your Treya on something else, you will get back there and you will not probably pass. Because there is not a lot that can kill it. And if you think you're going to use Jawa cheese, that crap does not work unless your Jawas are ridiculously high.
But let me tell you, Gear 11 Jawas, I was messing with that because we did it on Mist. That stupid warrior, what they did with the Jawas. Holy Christ. He almost killed it with like Gear 9 Jawas. With some were missing mods, it almost wiped out that Geo team. They had 25
but
stacks.
The only cheese that can beat them right now really is the Jawas, and even at anything below.
Oh, you got yeah.
I've seen them do it, and they kill like one person. They kill like one of the things. My brother did that. He set it on defense in the back for my suggestion, and we watched the guy go in, and you could tell that he used cheese because it was like 30 seconds later, and there was one Jawa or one killed. And my brother's his guys are Gear 10 and 11. His bugs are Gear 10 and 11, and he lost one. It was like a 20-second battle, so we know that's what happened. And then he went back in. The guy did 8 subsequent battles and could not win, couldn't clear, and he lost because of that node. So they're a worthy team, and take them to Gear 13. Put like better mods on them, like steal from the Old Republic or whatever, like, you know, get them up, and they're going to chew through basically everything. They just, you know, have a couple of Achilles heels, but so does every team.
Well said. All right, back to Lady Adastra.
Okay. Question from What Else 73: Is next week going to be another quiet week for the game?
Let me look into our crystal ball here.
Use the Force.
I don't know. There's rumors
Things you will
that
see.
August is gonna have a bunch of stuff coming at us. So who knows? It's like there's always, it's been going in spurts. You know, they had all kinds of stuff thrown at us, and now we've been in kind of a lull. You know, enjoying the new TD, this GA exhibition. You know, so it's been kind of nice. But I feel like, yeah, August, something they're gonna, because they want to. At least that was a comment Carrie made when she was still there, that they wanted to keep rolling out with stuff to keep people interested. So we'll see if August brings anything new or not.
So what else is the Force telling you?
More Jedi.
You may have your wish there at Lightside GOTV.
Yeah, we already get some. Yeah, with Lightside Geo.
I cannot wait. I'm gonna be so ready. Like, oh my god. More reworks, and we're getting more clones. Like, we know clone reworks are happening, just a matter of when. I know Galactic Republic, there's a lot more in store. Can't wait.
And I think in the farewell post that Eric put, I think it's next week that he said that Top Hat was going to release the next Road Ahead as well. So,
oh, that's right. That's correct. Yeah.
So hopefully next week isn't too quiet. All right. Let's see. Next question for Warrior from Morgul 128. And the question is, do you have a health arrow on Grievous or a speed arrow with hopefully decent speed health or decent health secondaries?
Oh, let's go look at Grievous. Clicky click. I'll look and tell you. I have 3 health sets. I have a health arrow, a critical damage triangle, a health cross, and a health plus. His health is at 108. He's around 222 speed, 186 crit damage, and his offense is for physical is well over 3,200. That's how I have him. You know, one of those things is he when he crits, his damage is based off of health, but the 16% health versus the extra 32% critical damage, or whatever, 36% critical damage, I feel is better. So that's what I've done.
Yeah,
and what kind of speed secondary do you have on his arrow? Or do you have speed secondary on his arrow?
Yeah, it's a health mod with a health primary with 19 speed secondary and 794 health secondary.
There you go.
It rolled health and speed only, so that's like, yeah for him.
All right.
What the hell is that? Get out of here!
Okay.
Oh my lord.
All right. Next question is for Adastra from Crispy Biscuits. And his question is, starting to see a lot of multi-Gear 13 Nightsister teams. And my Treya team is unreliable now that they get hit so much harder. Are there teams outside of Revan's that can take down full Gear 13 Nightsister teams?
Yeah, the Nightsisters are pretty awesome. I have mine all Gear 13 too for that reason, make them a lot tougher. However, other than, yeah, he listed the, you know, the OP teams, of course. You can also use Padme. Padme is another strong counter, you know, because of all the heals, and Anakin just goes crazy and decimates them. The Grievous team can work, because that's Nightsisters have always been like kind of a softer counter to Grievous, and with the rework, yeah, Grievous will be able to, I mean, most likely destroy a full Gear 13 Nightsister team. You just have to still have good mods, obviously. You can't, that's the thing, like, you gotta be careful, because some people, if they mod their sisters correctly, like Spirit can one-shot something, and Talzin can just go crazy too. But yeah, so Padme, very strong. The Grievous, their rework has made them a very high level team now. So I'd imagine he'd be able to. You could, I mean, CLS has always been kind of a counter. So if you want to use that, you got Han that shoots first no matter what. So you can kind of get the ball rolling, but you'd still got to be careful with their stuns and plague. And so that's, you would need to have like Chase on there for the heals and tenacity. Yeah, that would be like your hard counters. You would need like Gear 13 Imperial Troopers, because I don't think
Troopers
Gear
don't.
12 Troopers are gonna cut it. So that's let's see, and then what else? Oh, another fun one. I mean, I've done it because I have them. Shocked-led clone team is actually a pretty good one. However, I haven't tried against the full Gear 13 Nightsister team yet, though, so can't really say definitively if that's still successful. But it's worked for me, in the past against normal Nightsister teams using my shock clones. So there's a few options for you, depending on what your opponent's set and what you have to use offensively. You should be able to have a hard counter available potentially to take on a terrifying Nightsister team.
All right.
All right. Next question for Warrior from Paparazzi, and her question is: besides Sith Empire, what Gear 13s are trending in the top guilds?
Good question. So I had said this before, but it's not uncommon. I think everybody should know that Sith Empire, kind of, and I call them the triumvirate of every team, because every team has like a trio now, like CLS, Han, and Chewie. The triumvirate that's legit like the triumvirate. For Sith Empire, Darth Revan, Bastila, Darkside Bastila, and Malik. For regular Revan, it's Revan and Bastila and Yoda. So there's just there's like 3 from each faction that are like absolute musts. They're kind of the trio. The other couple of characters are really less necessary. Like, for example, Jolie, less necessary. Sith Trooper, less necessary. So there's there's what I would call privileged characters you can take up, and then ones that you need to. So I would start with the lead, like Darth Revan, and then I would do his, Malik if you've got him. If not, Bastila, his sidekick Basti. Same thing, regular Revan, regular Basti. General Grievous, the 2 that work really well for him is B1 and B2. B1 gets actually quite a huge offense boost, and he shoots a lot. So get him up to Gear 13, he shoots a lot and actually does some decent damage. It's like water; it just constantly flows and destroys the team that it's going after, and you're like, what? This is so much more damage than I remember. Even before General Grievous even goes AOE. So B2 Gear 13 makes him stupid hard to kill. I mean, really, really hard to kill. That's normally the first one everyone kills, because that's the turn meter train, so they either target it or kill it first. And then kind of just accept General Grievous is going to go, eat crap, but you kill B2. But now at Gear 13, I wailed away on a B2 and could hardly get rid of the protection because of the regeneration. So it's those are the 3 for that team. But the Revan, Grievous, Nightsisters, the trio for Nightsisters are obviously the 3 that are like necessary, are Asajj, Mother Talzin, and the 2 leaders, and then you can either do the tank or you can do Oldaka. I prefer Oldaka. Gear 13, she's crazy at Gear 13 with a Zeta. You can get her like over 80,000 health pretty easily. 80,000 health anyway. That's a good power creep. So those 3, and there's basically the 5 top teams. Your Nightsisters, your General Grievous team, the 2 Revans, and then Padme. And for Padme, it's not a trio; it's actually a quad group, because the trio is actually Kenobi, Barriss, and Anakin, or Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Anakin. But then of course Padme is worthy as well. So you've got 3 to 4 in those top 5, top 6 teams that you should look at. Rebels, CLS, Han and Chewie. Side note, Han and Chewie, both up to Gear 13. Their ship sees a minimal stat increase in damage and some minimal stat increase in health and some extra speed, a little bit of extra speed. So it doesn't seem like it's worth it, but in Arena, and I know I'm still losing and dropping because people are beating me on defense, but I'm able to chew through their, most of the time, almost always, I'm able to chew through a houndstooth in less than 15 seconds. Just, it takes like, when I get my turn and I take 2 turns at it, it's dead or crippled into the red. And that before Gear 13 was not the case. It took me 1.5 minutes to win every battle, minimum. Some battles were 2 minutes because everybody's like tank heavy in the ships. But with this, I chew through everyone and I'm done in 60 seconds or less. In some battles, I'm done in less than 20 seconds. If the assists are called like they should be. So, definitely some really good options, but just think of the top 2, top 3 characters in every faction. The ones that have the most synergy, like Revan and Basti, or Darth Revan and Darth Basti. And you go, yeah, that has a lot of synergy. That makes the most sense. Those are the most synergistic teams with the most synergistic characters within those sets.
All right.
Okay. Next question for Adastra from Eric Becker, and his question is, what is the best Gear 13 order for the Nightsisters?
Oh, good question. I have them all, well, the core grouping Gear 13. I don't think I'm ever gonna Gear 13 my initiate, for instance, so I'm assuming you're talking about the main ones. But yeah, Daka, I would recommend as the very first one, because she gets such an awesome health boost, and she's kind of depending, either lead that you run, your Daka, you generally want to live, and she just becomes more of a beast. You just mod her, go all in on health. You don't have to make her super fast. Just get her very tanky with the health sets, health primaries. And as side note, it's also very good in the new TV. Like, I was able to use them on the recent TV, and it's very awesome. So yes, Daka first for that reason, the health boost, and it's very cool. And then if you're the second one, I kind of deliberated when I was doing this, because Spirit gets a very good offensive boost, and she's just Gear 13. You can one shot like Scion, for instance. That's where if Traya is becoming much harder as a counter against a well-geared Nightsister team. So now a Gear 13 well-geared Nightsister team is going to take one of those stronger counters, and Spirit definitely helps as that deterrent against some of these counters, because she can one-shot some, or you make her really fast, get those stuns going. I opted for the offensive route, so I have a crit damage set there, got the 222% and 5k offense, but you can go like the full-on speed route, because I know a fast potent Spirit can be very annoying, just stunning you and constantly, and she'll still be strong even without a crit damage set. So we just did a speed set and a potency set. But that would still be my recommendation for your next Gear 13 because of that. That she's just very, for those reasons, strong, fast, and helps the team defend against certain counters. Then after that, kind of a hard choice, like Asajj or Talzin. They both get good boosts too, offensive and health. Talzin is another one that you can deck out with offense. So, there's really no wrong choice on which one is next between them. I guess if you really want to get nitpicky, you can go down to, Asajj as she's often the leader, but Talzin has been used as leader. So, flip a coin and pick the one between those two.
I choose you, Asajj Ventress.
But yeah, they both get some pretty. I was impressed that every Nightsister, the core 5 here, they all get some worthwhile boosts at gear 13. You know, they get health steal, get the speed, get damage. Like, it's very awesome. Like, it's very noticeable. Like, I've used them offensively against a variety of stuff. So, then that being said, zombie as the last one, because it's not as important for her to be super tanky healthy, but it does add to the annoyance. You know, having a sturdy zombie making it harder for a counter to chew through her. So I mean, they're all worthwhile for gear 13, that's for sure.
All right. We go round and round and round. Finn, next one to Warrior.
All right, so Warrior, question from Deadpool Kyle, and his question is, I geared 13'd Grievous the other day, and I'm working on getting 6E mods for him. He is fun to use. Is there a certain turn order I need for the Grievous droid team?
There's not actually a certain turn order. With B1, every time he goes, he's going to regenerate protection, and obviously his offense, because he's called to assist every single time. So you want offense as high as possible, but speed is more important, and those both sets are 4. So I would go with a speed set with crit chance set or health set, and then go with just as much offense and speed secondaries as possible that you can muster from your mods. B2, he just kind of goes because he gets the turn meter, so you don't have to make him as fast. I would be more concerned about making him very protection-based and tenacious, to high tenacity and protection, because people are trying to kill him first, and so if you keep it to where the tenacity is high and protection pool is high, when he regenerates that protection from B1, it'll go right back to that protection that he lost. So you want him to stick around as long as possible. So their modding doesn't really matter because, B1 is just a matter of making him as fast as possible. B2 doesn't really need the speed. He just needs to be as tanky as possible. So there's not really a turn order per se. And then General Grievous, you want him to be as healthy as possible, which means he's maybe not necessarily going to be the fastest, in there because you're focused more on those health primary sets. He's kind of like Jolie. Think of him as a Jolie. I actually know a lot of people that took their Jolie mods and moved them straight over to General Grievous, and that's kind of the way you want to mod him, just a bunch of health primaries. There is some debate about whether you want to use a health triangle or a crit damage triangle. It's been tested both ways with the same characters and stuff, and basically if you crit, it's better to have the crit triangle. If you don't crit, it would be better to have the health. Basically the same thing as offense and crit chance, but if you can get that crit chance between 60 and 70%, it's better to do the triangle. And to be honest, 60 to 70% is not hard to do on crit chance, so you'll get some consistency out of that. And then the other two, some people plug in Newt, some people don't. The last Grand Arena I went against the team, I had to go against it 3 times. Their Newt was 304 speed. So apparently that's a thing, but I didn't know that a super fast Newt mattered because Newt's he goes stealth and he's kind of in the background just screwing people up with the whatever that new buff is called. Help me out.
You mean extortion?
Profit.
Extortion.
Yeah, extortion. Yeah, extortion. His new buff, extortion, or debuff, whatever you want to call it, extortion is pretty wicked. But a lot of people are using him, but not always. Deca, aka the Droidica, is really all about offense. And there's 2 trains of thought: make him really slow, make him really fast. There's a lot of debate on both of those as well. But you really want him to hit for as much as humanly possible after he comes out of invincibility mode, after he's built up a bunch of stacks, have him go Super Saiyan and just one-shot something. If his offense isn't cranked up, he's not going to be as impressive, even at Gear 12. So if you're using him, then that. And then Magna Guard, again, is a tank. So he doesn't have to be especially fast, and really you want him just to be as tanky as possible. You do want potency on him, though, because he does do stuff that requires potency, so you want to make sure that he's able to apply the debuffs and stuff that he's trying to apply, such as the stun and whatnot. And he makes everybody else go stealth, and he gets the initial brunt of all the hits, and then he's a disruptive taunt, which is actually really, really good. Anytime a disruptive taunt means they taunt out of turn when certain conditions apply, the disruptive taunts are, in my opinion, the best taunts in the game. They're way better. And auto taunt is the second best. And auto taunt is pretty amazing when it taunts at the first turn, which is him. He's an auto taunter as well, but he's also a disruptive taunter because throughout the battle he'll constantly be throwing up that taunt, and you're gonna have a hard time getting around him without buff immunity. So you just want him like B2, very, 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 very tanky. The whole point of them is to just absorb damage while Grievous ramps his offense up, and eventually, by the end of it, it doesn't really matter, that you killed 3 or 4 of the other droids. By this time, Grievous is hitting for 120 to 150 to 180, depending on who he's going against.
All right.
All right. Next question for Adastra.
I think she's AFK.
Oh, is she? Okay. So
I will take the next question, Finn.
Actually, give me a second here. There's actually a question for you.
Oh, no.
Jump ahead to. Yeah. So the question is from Zombie7469TX. And it's a question for Ranger. Thank you for talking about the Kira stall team. I have had a lot of holds with it. What should the speeds look like for the team? Kira, Big Z, Mission, Vandor, Chewie, and L3.
Well, you don't need to worry about speed with Z and L3, right? Carrie is not. It's not about speed either. The two that. Well, it depends on which version of the Kira stall team you're running, right? So, for me, since I focus more on survivability with the team now, I'm going more with the prepared Kira stall team. But if you're going to go traditional with Mission and Zalbar, then Mission you want as fast as possible. Get underneath stealth, and then she starts blinding and doing her thing with her combination with Zalbar. The Zalbar you want tanky, L3 you want super tanky. And then you're off. It just with Vandor you can do damage and make him a little tanky. He can do some really nice damage, but it's a very tanky team. It's not just about the speed. But if you're gonna go the prepared team, the 2 characters that I put speed on that I'm using is Young Han. Now there's a couple of versions of that you can run too. So you can go Kira with Vandor L3, with Stormtrooper Han. He gets a lot of benefits being a scoundrel, and you want him tanky as well with like a young Lando who's throwing prepared everywhere. So you put speed on Lando. The other team is to take Stormtrooper Han out and put young Han in, which is what I'm working on towards doing, getting young Han to 11 right now. And then having them fast, so they're dropping, they're prepared everywhere. The rest of the characters, you want a lot of health and protection on that team because it just regenerates health. It's just a pain in the ass. You have to get through a lot of things. So, but if you're going through a traditional one, Mission fast, damage, Zalbar very tanky. You want L3 tanky. Kira, you put some speed on, a little bit of offense, but make her kind of survivable because she's squishy. And then whoever 5th you want to use. Some people will use Nest on that team, which just makes it even more ridiculous. So there's a lot of different routes. But with Vandor, again, a little bit of damage, but also tanky as well. It's more about just it just being a nuisance. You're like, God, all this health and protection, I can't get through it. And they're just slowly beating the crap out of me. What do I do? I can't get through L3, especially when she starts getting to her 3 levels. Then it becomes really a nightmare. But it can be countered, but it's just one of those teams that's just so damn annoying trying to get through. So that's kind of how you want to approach that team. And she's back.
All right. Adastra, are you ready for your question?
Yep, I sure am.
Okay. So the question is from Zombie7469TX, and his question is, I just unlocked GBA, Geo Brood Alpha. How important is speed for the team, and is Poggle the best 5th for the team?
First of all, congrats. It's a very fun team. So speed, you pretty much only need speed on GBA, and Poggle, well, you want some speed there too, actually. So those 2 are the main ones that you want speed. And And yeah, ideally, the full 5 bugs offensively is preferable, because then they'll get more bonuses and all that synergy that they have together. It's a very strong team. I never thought I'd see the day that bugs are killing Jedi Revan of all things. Come on. But yes, so main speed for Brood Alpha and Poggle, and then Poggle, well, on all of them, you want some crit chance though, because that's pretty important to get the momentum, continuing the momentum, and the death by 1,000 needles, so to speak. And Poggle, you want some potency though, as well. So basically, speed, potency as the main focus for Poggle, and then what crit chance you can after that. And then for Spy, you don't need to worry about speed at all. You just deck him out with offense, crit damage, crit chance, and as much offense as you can throw on him, because he's just gonna one-shot stuff. Like, this guy is a beast. So you don't care about, the speed on him in favor of him just obliterating stuff. And then Soonfak, you just make tanky, you just make him super tanky. So you can throw tenacity on him as well. Just do like health sets, tenacity sets, or even if you have it like a defense set, how often do you get to use those these days? So the point is to make him tanky. And speed, you can throw some speed on there if you want, but like it doesn't have to be super fast. Like, you can have him somewhat because of his dispel and the taunt. So don't basically like 0 speed. You want at least a little speed. And then Soldier, he's kind of in between as well. Offensive, while Spy is like your big damage dealer. Geo Soldier can dish it out pretty good too, so I'd still recommend some offense on him. Emphasis on the crit chance though. Again, you want, some people, they go all out crit chance sets on him. Like, you can do 3 crit chance sets, for instance, just to ensure that he's gonna get that crit going and get the turn meter, because he gains TM every time he gets a critical hit. So some people just go in on that just for the TM generation, because then he'll use his special to summon another ally, which is nice that you actually get to select the ally because of that rework of theirs, the hive mind bonus. So it's very handy, especially in the TB when you're doing these combats, that you can select Poggle for the ability block because you're trying to control everything nicely. Yeah, I think that covered most of it.
I think you got it done. Get her done.
Fun team, though. I gotta say, it really is a fun team.
All right.
They did a good job on the reworks.
All right. Next question, I think, is more for Scissorman Warrior than Warrior. So the question is from Plasma 1972. Says, I'm kind of a new player. I just hit level 85 on Monday and was wondering if it is beneficial to go quick to get more GP, or shall I go slowly to get character shards while keeping my GP low? I currently have 450,000 GP. And yes, congratulations on hitting 85.
So GP doesn't matter. Okay? I want everybody listening to understand GP does not matter. Listen, if you build the right teams and focus on developing the right teams, your GP will naturally grow. As it grows, it will be reflective of your hard work. Teams that are out there will start to pick you up based on your GP. I get that. But you don't want to unnecessarily fluff your GP, but you also don't want to try to stifle your GP. In fact, I'm trying, the same thing goes with me with Scissorman. I don't want to be over 1.6 mil because I'm kicking everyone's butt between the 1.3 and 1.6 mil. So I don't want to go up. But I just got CLS. I just got Revan. Like, those are the right decisions. And they pushed me over the 1.6 million to almost 1.7 million. That is healthy GP. That's okay. You're going to naturally grow. Just focus. Just don't worry about GP. Focus on the teams that mean the most, that have the most synergy. So you have teams, because right now, bottom line, every team does raids. Every team does, Hoth or Geonosis or whatever, like you're going to get plugged into a team that's going to do PvE content. And most guilds, not all, but most guilds can actually, as long as you're doing your 600 and you can throw 1 or 2 teams in there, they can do it. There's normally, most raids, you only need 20 or 30 participants to get through. Even I'm in a 120 million GP guild. Like we're at almost 300 million in Team Instinct. So 120 million is not a big deal anymore. And my Scissorman team, they smoke the Sith raid with like 20 of them. Over an hour, like, and I've got teams now on Scissorman account that I can put up, 5 to 10 million now on my Scissorman account, if you can believe that, which is crazy, awesome. But I don't even hardly get time because they're busting through it so quick. So don't worry about PvE; that'll come with time. And as you develop teams, you'll notice, oh, I've got to get Huss Soldier. Okay, you'll put them on the back burner and work them a little here and there. But, most of your teams that you're developing, your Phoenix, you'll get to use. If you're developing Rogue One for ships, you'll get to use those on a node in PvE. And you can use them, both of those teams as defensive teams in the back row like I do on Grand Arena. But you'll get your Rev and you'll get your CLS. You'll get all these different teams, Old Republic for defense. And you'll have the right teams. All that really matters in this game right now and moving forward is truly PvP, because everything you use for PvP, you can use for PvE. And PvP is their focus. PvP is where you're going to find the most satisfaction if you're good at it versus not being so good at it. If you are always someone's punching bag, it's going to become a frustration. But if you are laser focused on the right teams, you'll find yourself consistently going in and just winning because you have a better evolution of your roster versus another person at where you're at. So focus more on the right teams and just let your GP be a byproduct of the correct decisions that you've been making.
That's science. All right.
Science.
The next question for Ms. Jedi Master Adastra from Danilo Papayas. And his question is, how important is Fallen Bastila Zeta on Sith Apprentice for Arena on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd say it's still pretty important. I mean, it's more for the different counters. Like, it helps for, like, Grand Arena or TW. That foresight is just that extra step to get around. But the reason I ended up giving it to her was when they did the rework, adding in the potency in there. I thought that was kind of sneaky. But on a scale of 1 to 10, it's definitely not a Zeta that's like a high priority one. It helps with the different counters, but that team is still going to be a pain in the butt to defeat with or without that Zeta. So I'd say, depending on what else you have to do, it wouldn't be as much of a priority for you. I would have to see your roster. Like, it would be like maybe like middle of the road, maybe like a 5 at most for, the 1 to 10 scale there. Because again, it helps, it helps the team, but it's still a very powerful team without it. Like, it's not going to make or break you. People are struggling against teams that don't have that Zeta and teams that do have the Zeta. So it's mainly just for defensive purposes for other counters, the Jedi Revan team and Padme. But it's so easy to get around it that Ahsoka dispels, but regardless, and will still hit you. Jedi Revan, you just mark Bastila and you're gonna. So it could be the difference of getting that one-hit KO or not at times, because you're going to miss on the first attack when you mark her. So it can be a deterrent, especially at Gear 13 when you can make her tankier, that it comes more into play. But again, overall, it's kind of an extra Zeta. Like, you don't need to focus on all the other Zetas first. And it's, luxury. It's kind of a luxury Zeta nowadays.
All right.
It's sad. A lot of people have luxury Zetas, but not luxury Omegas anymore.
Yeah, I have a few luxury Zetas now, comparatively. Back in the day, the Zeta was amazing. Now it's useless. Cody Zeta, cough.
Hey, that may come back with Light side GOTB. Who knows?
Am I
Introduction
by one?
cons may change everything.
Mm.
All right. For Warrior, next question from Darth Scion 1972 says, question, I have Brood Alpha almost 7 stars. Should I take him to gear 13, and what benefit is he at that gear?
If you're serious about your Geos, 100%, he's at a minimum one of. So I talked about the triumvirate of every team. Like every team should have a trio that you should take up to gear 13. And for that team, he should go to gear 13, and Spy should go to gear 13. Spy is stupid. 200k hits consistently, easily, even with literally sub mod. Especially, by the way, against Jedi Knight Revan teams. Jedi Knight Revan teams are one-shotted by Spy because of all the buffs. Because he dispels all status effects on himself and the others. So if they've got 14 status effects, that's multiplicative. That's a fun word. To the damage that he does. So it's crazy good. So he's one of them. Spy's one of them. Soldier is just a really solid damage dealer, and Poggle is too. So those two, it's kind of a toss-up. I've seen a few go with Soldier. I've seen a few go with Poggle. But at a minimum, I would take the leader to gear 13 because of the extra speed, because of the extra durability, because of the extra damage, because like everyone else has alluded to, a faster leader is always, for the most part, with most teams, better. For example, clones, and you got Shaak Ti, trash team unless you've got her fast. If you got her fast, it is B-level defense, like just under the Grievouses and the Darth Revan teams. But if you've got her over 300 speed, my God, it is difficult even beating subpar clones because of the health protection regeneration, the retribution, the constant attacks, the turn meter gains. Like, it's just stupid. But she's 220, you go in and mow them down lightning fast with the Imperial troopers. So it's all about speed on the leader, not so much the rest of the team. And the Geos are very similar in that nature. The faster he is, the faster he gets that whole train going.
All right.
Okay. Adastra, next question for you from ND Fox. And he says, our attempts against Gear 13 Grievous with Jedi Knight Revan had mixed results. Is there an ideal Jedi Knight Revan mod strategy or comp to use against Grievous? We don't want to use Traya, and is there another counter? My GK is currently with the Galactic Republic, and what is the kill order?
Okay, yeah, good question. Jedi Revan is indeed a strong counter, but as you noted, you need the correct combinations and modding, decent modding. Assuming you're going against like the Gear 13 Grievous teams, they can be pretty scary with the one-shots and etc. So for the Jedi Revan team, ideally you would want Hermit Yoda there because he'll add more healing, the Foresight, and another spam attack. You give the Masters training, and then it makes your guys stronger, of course, adds all those delicious bonuses. So your core group, you're going to have Jedi Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda as your main three. And you have to have those three for the best odds. Like, there are a few combinations, but those three, for me, has been the difference maker. Like, Hermit Yoda saved my butt one time against a really strong droid team. And then Jolie, you can have him there for that backup. He summons Grandmaster Yoda and another healer, revive, so in case you do lose someone, Jolie can maybe bring them back. So, and then you have a lot of options again, since you can use like Zaris for that extra if you're worried about getting killed by the crits and etc. Or Bastila, of course, she's your optimum one there as that fifth, but I was saying that in case you're splitting up your Jedi, if you're using Bastila somewhere else too, but that'll be your main group. So Jedi Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda, Jolie, Bastila. So between all that, you're getting a lot of assists going. Grandmaster Yoda is just gonna destroy stuff. So your movement or your mods, you want Jedi Revan to be fast, of course. The odds are you're gonna outspeed a Grievous team anyways because of his lead bonus, and the only character on the Grievous team that's gonna be really fast generally is B1. So, and then your Yoda, you just want him to be able to destroy stuff. You don't have to deck him out in speed. It's more important that he hits hard. Generally, that's how it's always been for him. You want good offense on him. It's a great damage dealer. And then speed on Hermit Yoda, of course. He doesn't care about anything else. Just throw on as much speed as you can on him as possible. And Jolie, Basilisk, kind of the same idea. So then you're gonna, when you're going against the normal droid team, I'm assuming like Ig is there, so they're gonna start with stealth. So you're gonna have no choice at first. But so then your movement order, your best chances is you want Yoda to get going, right? So most likely your Jedi Revan is gonna be first, or your Hermit Yoda, depending on how you get your speeds going. But say your Jedi Revan is first, you're gonna swap with Grandmaster Yoda, do his TM swap with him. So now Grandmaster Yoda is ready to go, and you'll do his AoE, because you're wanting to trigger B2. You want to get B2 out of stealth, because you're going to mark him first. Grievous is going to take forever and stay in stealth. So if you keep waiting for him to use your first mark, you're going to be waiting for a while. So you want to kill B2 first, as soon as possible, because his AoE is very annoying. Dispelling your buffs, applying buff immunity. It's kind of like the kryptonite of this team. They love their buffs. So you gotta kill him right away. So the first mark on him, and you'll generally, mods depending, you're gonna mow him down pretty quick because of all your assist attacks you got going. Between Basila, Hermit Yoda, Jolie, Revan. I mean, they're very assist heavy, as you know. So then once you kill him, you're waiting for your mark to come back to target Grievous, but in the meantime, now you gotta get rid of B1 because he's the healer of the team, and you just kind of ignore the others. I mean, if you see an opportunity, like, again, if your Yoda's decked out with offense that you can one-shot something, go for it. But in general, you want to get rid of B1 while you're waiting for Mark to come back, because then you can kill Grievous. Because while all that's going on, Grievous might kill you with his, because, when a droid ally is killed, or separatist ally, Grievous gets angry, and he's potentially going to one-shot you. So, that's kind of the, but usually you're healing up pretty good, and you're going to survive. I mean, I've never lost when I've used Jedi against the droid team, and I've gone against Gear 13 before. But it's definitely scary. But generally, follow that pattern, you're gonna survive it. You'll kill Grievous next, and once, as soon as you get the mark on him and kill him off, it's like Dama. It's very easy to manage it. And you have the freebie revive from Revan, and then you have the Jolie revive too if someone did get killed off. Hermit Yoda will help heal them up. So it's a very strong counter.
All right. Back to Warrior.
All right. So Warrior question from What Else 73. Do you think they should add Gear 13 as a parameter to determining matchmaking, so people without aren't going up against people that have 5, 10, or more Gear 13s?
Yeah, so it's funny. Gear 13 is such a pinnacle of achievement, but the piece to get you to Gear 13 adds like 240 GP. So it's not reflective inside of the GP. But it does so much for the character. It's like an entire another gear level, because mods factor in now an entire gear of boosts. Plus that piece of gear is better than like Gear 8, 9, and 10 combined. Like, it's just look at Daka, 13,000 or whatever health. I mean, that is more than she gets from like 5 levels of gear. It's one piece. So I think that when you kick into Gear 13. I am not a developer, so I'm not even going to say that I know all of this, but I know other games have these kinds of things. But like Gear 13 should provide a character with a virtual token. Zetas should provide a character with a virtual token. When you've got a character with 3 Zetas in Gear 13, they would have 4 tokens. That character is going to be weighted heavier because of the tokens that it has versus others. These tokens are in the background. We don't see them. They're just in the coding and the programming. And it allows for the computer to see and weight characters appropriately. Now, I don't think this was even a thought in their mind because, again, they're just developing it and going, ooh, cool, look at this. We're going to do this. And the people are going to be so excited about popping their stuff to Gear 13. And then all of a sudden we start getting matched up against someone with the same GP, but they've got, 36 and you've got, 1. You're like, okay, so this isn't fair. It's not fair, but I mean, they're going to have to fix it, but it's going to take time. One of the things that they constantly say, and they're right, and I don't know why, but their team, it takes a very, very long time to roll out changes. And they want to make those changes. They desire to make those changes, but it takes them a very long time to implement them, to test them, to make sure it doesn't break the game, blah, blah, blah. So it's on their radar already as something. I mean, this is the deal. They want Grand Arena to be successful, because if Grand Arena gets all the kinks worked out and we're all pretty much, for the most part, pretty happy with their algorithm, and we start to see fairer based matches and stuff like that, and win or lose, it feels right to most people, which I think they can get there eventually, probably 6 to 8 months from now. The game is going to be very healthy because people are going to go in, win, lose, or draw. They're going to go in, have some fun, know that they went against someone that was relatively matched. And, if they win, they're going to feel great. And if they lose, whatever, it happens. You win some, you lose some. And I think most people will feel that way. But when you go in and you've got, 400 speed mods and the other person has 1,000 speed mods, and they have 36 Gear 13 and you've got 18, they got twice as many Gear 13. They got twice as many speed mods than you. I mean, you already lost before you started. And I enjoy a challenge, but when you take in your set counters, and remember, you're setting, for us anyway, at the high end, we're setting 8 defenses. Those are 8 of your best teams are gone. And then you got to use your counters. And people say that's the funny thing. And everyone listening knows that I'm telling the truth. People are like, oh, just use Jedi Revan for General Grievous. And then people are like, well, who the hell am I supposed to use against the Nightsisters? Oh, just use Jedi Revan against the Nightsisters. Well, wait, that's 2 teams with the same team. What am I supposed to do? That is real. Everybody flippantly gives you counters, but they don't realize you only get 1 counter per team basically. And if you don't do it perfectly, you're not going to clear and you're not going to win. And even if you have cleanup teams, you're not going to win because of efficiency. And you really have to decide, do I want Jedi Knight Revan to kill Grievous and possibly lose? Or do I want to go kill Nightsisters and it be a guarantee? And so that's where the hard thing comes in. But yes, they have got to take a look at the Grand Arena, the weighting and stuff. And I can assure you, I talked to the developers a lot, and he personally, just yesterday after that fiasco, he personally reassured me that they are specifically looking into exactly what I brought up, because of my frustrations. And I don't speak for myself. I speak for the community at large, because I hear the community giving me the same feedback that I feel. And so I am a squeaky wheel, maybe sometimes squeakier than others, but I'm a squeaky wheel for the developers.
Squeaky,
they know what needs to be fixed. And so that's good.
All right. Next question for Lady Adestra.
By the way, we stopped collecting questions before any of those. Yeah, just make sure.
We can't answer them all, folks. We would love to answer them all. But...
yeah, we already have a lot queued up, so we're getting through these. Okay. So Adastra, question from home. Actually, a question for Explorer Binthagar. I'm gonna probably say it wrong, but Zlor Explorer. So question for Adastra. I now have my Gear 13 Lumi. What is the best way of using her in a Padme or Jedi Knight Revan team, or just bench her looking beautiful?
Yeah, this guy is awesome. Congrats again. He got the world
is
first.
the most awful thing I've ever heard.
Woo!
Jedi Consular Finn had a lot to say about that yesterday.
I was teasing him too because I could have Gear 13 my Lumi before him, but I was like, no, that'd be mean. Because it's awesome to meet another person like that. But yes, to your question, you gotta use her. I mean, yes, she looks beautiful in your roster, but you gotta let her shine with the team. So yeah, you could definitely with the Padme team, while she's obviously not gonna be your best fifth, you could definitely use her in there. I did like a little video on that, even just random fifths that can be plugged into the Padme just with the Galactic Republic tag. Because that team is just, that synergy there. However, Gear 13 Malix can be a pain. But you could try that. You could, mod her with the health and the speed to get the turn order with the Padme team. And she just watch her. You can have your Lumi one shot there, Darth Revan.
Yeah, that's not happening now.
It's, my Barris did that, so Lumi could do that.
Yeah, Chewie, no.
And then, or the Jedi Revan team, like you said, she could, again, unfortunately, with all your options, she's not the best. But when splitting up your Jedi, you could put her with like a Bastila lead, or with your Jedi Revan team. You gotta try it at least once in her, just have her on your Revan team or Padme team, just decimating your opponent.
Oh my god. Friends don't let friends. Gear 13 Lumi.
When I did my Guardian to Gear 13,
I know. Well, I'm starting to worry about you, Lady Dasher. I'm gonna have an intervention about this. I really am.
Hey, just wait until that light side TV drops.
Yeah. And then you go in there and you're like, oh, my Lumi got wrecked with all the rest of my characters, like in Dark Side. Wait.
Yeah, seriously though, that TV is gonna be crazy.
It's gonna go cray. Oh yeah, I mean, we're just ready. We thought the pain for Dark Side TV was something. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet.
Exactly. But I'm looking forward to letting my Galactic Republic and Jedi shine and destroy them all. But yes, again, congrats on that, Lumi. Woo!
Yes, Lumi, great.
All right. So the next question.
Yeah, someone who doesn't have Gear 13 Lumi, Warrior.
Does he not have Lumi? I don't know.
He does not have a Gear 13 Lumi. I'll bet my soul on that.
Yeah, there's only one in the world right now, so.
And that Warrior Gear 13 is just to make Ranger lose his soul.
No, I bet it now. Now.
Yeah, it's done.
And
it is done.
You said now.
Soon. When will then be now? Soon.
All right. Warrior, question from Helmet Fulgrim. What is your preference on Dooku's mods for GOTB Phase 2?
So Dooku is, a character who applies a lot of debuffs, and he's naturally fast. So he's kind of a fun character to keep fast and keep potent. So I really focused on a speed set and potency set. He regenerates. He's very durable. If you've got his Zeta, his Zeta's worth it. A lot of people that had better mods than me that wanted to put their better mods on him anyway. I didn't want to put, super amazing mods on him. Like I said, he's fast and potent naturally. You just accentuate those existing stats, and you can make him extremely. I think I don't know. I'm gonna go look because I've got a ton of potency on him. You have to though. They've got like 300% tenacity in the new TB. So if you don't have like 150% potency, you're probably not going to apply a whole lot. So I did a speed set and potency set. I got him like a plus 100 speed. He's like 274. So that's pretty good. His potency is well over 100%. And then, you Zeta him, because without the Zeta, you can do it, but it's painful potentially, and it could go wrong. It could go south with some of the AoEs. With the Zeta, without my A-level mods, I was able to still take him in and win with relative ease with the Zeta. So if you got a Zeta to throw on him, it's definitely going to be worth it.
All right.
Science.
There you go. All right. Next question for Mr. Dastra. Question from Daniel McCracken. Question is, I just finished Sith Trooper in Cantina. should I start farming Geos or finish Paplu? Paplu for a 5 or 6 star 3PO. I'm still having to set Phoenix and Stormtrooper Han Rebels on defense in Grand Arena Championships.
Oh, good question. It's kind of hard to answer, like where you're at in your guild, because obviously the Geos, it's important for the TV. So if your guild is doing the Geo TV, you definitely want to try to get them up to par to help the guild out. And then it's a very strong team too. However, you said he's just missing Paplu for his C3PO.
That's
right?
what he said. He said Paplu for a 5 or 6 star 3PO. So I'm assuming he has
Oh, yeah.
Ewoks ready.
Okay, then yeah, he should finish that first since you're like right there on the verge of unlocking 3PO. So, and then after you do that, then you can focus all in on your Geos. But since you're right there, you gotta, you're at the finish line, with your Ewoks. So, and 3PO is a very good character, like very handy. Can plug into a variety of teams for competitive play. So if your guild is all about TV though, then yeah, your Geos are important. But for TW and Grand Arena, you want a 3PO available to use. So I would recommend finishing your Paplu since you're right there, very close to getting that part done. And then you can just go all in on the Geos after that.
Simple enough.
I like it. Simple, elegant. So what Lady Dash is saying is don't work on Jedi. Next question to Warrior.
Hey!
All right. Question for Warrior from Zombie7469TX. Question: With Dooku, Newt, Geo Soldier, Geo Spy, Poggle, and Sunfac at Gear 11, and Asajj at Gear 12, and I can repeat those if you need, Warrior. What is my chance at a 7-star Padme? I have no Zeta on Dooku, both on Asajj, but I can put one on Dooku.
Why doesn't he have Grievous?
I do not know. He does not have Grievous on the list.
Because you could focus on 5 characters, or you could focus on 1. Focus on 1, General Grievous, get him 7 stars, get him Gear 13, and get your Padme. Or you can focus on 5 characters, and of the listed ones, I would do Newt, Asajj, Dooku, Sunfac, and Soldier. Or replace Soldier with Spy, because Spy can hit for a stupid amount. So that's the suggestion of what he gave, but get a Gear 13. I'm very confident that a Gear 13 well modded can take that event out. I'm very confident in that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with all the reworks they've done with some of the characters. It's like, good lord.
I mean, you need the Zetas. Don't get me wrong. You
Yes.
need his unique Zeta. You need the unique Zeta because that is where the magic pops. But the other characters are truly not relevant. Now, whatever energy you put into Separatists, you will get out because they're almost all needed in the Separatist TB, the GOTB. So, I mean, you're going to use your Geos, you're going to use the Nightsisters, you're going to use Newt, and you're going to use Dooku. So, like, all of them are going to be worth it once you put energy into them. They're good for all of that, but really, General Grievous is the magic key.
There you go. So, and I this one is a little bit less probability it has, but Droideka would also be a good sub-in for that team too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone that was in Team Instinct, most of them are like Whaley Whales the Whale on everything, and I didn't on B1 and I didn't on Droideka, and so I had to pick one, and I had to spend my daily earned crystals on one of them's shards, and I figured, man, these events are going to be tough. I want the durability. I'm going to go ahead and use all my daily earned crystals on B1 because then I'll get all the extra calls to assist. I'm going to get all that regeneration of protection. I mean, this is going to be great. So I spent all my crystals over a month period of time to get him to 7 stars, and then we find out he's the one character that will make it impossible to win the event if you have him. And I'm like, that's awesome. Thanks for being douches. That's like a whaley whale character, and you have to sub him out, for like a gear 10 Sun Fact to win, because like you can't win with a character that's like the freshest, whaliest character in the shard. Like, come on, like that's so bullcrap. And don't take your Geos in. I don't care if you got Gear 13 Geos, you'll die. You won't even scratch them with the Gear 13 Geos.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame that, but everyone that had Deca, Droidica, they were like, oh, that was such an easy event. I don't know what's going on. Why is everyone struggling? I'm like, oh, shut up.
You're a monster.
You're a monster.
All right. So with that, just really quick, Snakes 1594. I think Warrior answered your question with that one as well. Because his question was, what is the best non-droid team to use for Padme? And I think that was covered in that one. So if you still have questions, just let us know, Snakes. But I think Warrior covered that one too. So so for Adastra, next question is from Fat Tony 99, and his question is, what is the Omega order for Dooku for the Phase 2 battle in Geo? I have a Zeta on him and Gear 11, but no other Omegas, and a Gear 13 Asajj to go with him. I'll only be able to drop 1 or 2 Omegas for him before the battle.
I love that you got the Zeta on him first. You're like all in on the Zeta. No Omegas left. And I'm the opposite. I don't have a Zeta on my Dooku, but I have all the Omegas. Let's see. I'm pretty sure you'd want his I have to look at see what they do. It's been a while. With the reworks, you want it's special that stealths him. Is that on the Omega that gives the stealth? I'm pretty sure. So because you want him constantly stealthing to stay alive, so that Omega is important. And then his Force Lightning does the stun, so I'm sure you get a more % chance to land that. So that's probably your next important one, because you're trying to, even though they have an insane amount of tenacity, you will eventually land some stuns on them. So I would say those ones to make sure he's stealthing and then get the stuns going, if you're only getting to choose 2. Because his basic, I'm pretty sure that's just going to add, it usually just adds damage, but between that, that's your important ones. And you have the Zeta, so it's going to be even easier for you. I don't have the Zeta, so this mission has been a lot tougher, because I'm amazed at how much that Zeta adds. You're getting that protection recovery, the critical hit immunity. So you're going to be looking pretty good. Just get those stuns going, keep them stealth, and you should walk through that mission no problem. Because, yeah. Whereas mine, I have to really mod him for protection, health, so he can survive at the end there. So, yes, so you should be able to do it, no problem.
Do it. All right.
Round
we go.
Question. Yep. So Warrior question from Ziglet. I have a Gear 13 Darth Revan Malik, Grievous, Jedi Knight Revan, and Darkside Bastila. Any recommendation on who to do next?
Yeah, those are good ones. So if you got good Nightsisters, definitely go there, because Grievous is good for that team. You don't have to do the other droids right away, but eventually B1, B2. The Sith Empire, it sounds like you knocked that out, so that's great. So I would focus on like Nightsisters and Rebels. Those are 2 really great ones. You can't go wrong with Han, Chewie, CLS, R2D2, C3PO. Like, all of those are so viable in so many ways. But Nightsisters for sure, the kind of triumvirate of Nightsisters with Daka and Asajj and Mother Talzin. And after that, Padme team, of course, the 3 damage dealers. Well, the 2 damage dealers in the tank, the triumvirate of the Padme team, if you have them. It's easier to get Anakin, Ahsoka, and General Kenobi than it is Padme. Some people don't even have Padme yet, but there's still a significant synergy with those other 3, so you could take those up, because I'm sure you have them, or hopefully you do. So hopefully that helps.
All right.
Okay, next question for Adastra. Question from What Else 73. His question is, why doesn't a full Sith Empire team, so Darth Revan, Fallen Bastila, HK, Sith Trooper, Sith Marauder, seem to be as popular in Arena or work as well as other mixed teams?
Well,
So, without Malak.
Oh, sorry. What was that?
I was saying he's mentioning teams without Malak. He didn't put Malak in that list of Sith Empire, just for reference.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it depends arena to arena, what you're going against. So like in my arena, it's just Gear 13 Darth Revan teams everywhere. So modding wise, sometimes your mods are just too inferior that the mirror matches become really tough. So if their Darth Revan moves first and then their Fallen Bastila moves first, that's a very uphill battle to climb in overcoming that. So then you'll start seeing these different mixture of teams, especially if you don't have Malak. You're going to have to get a little creative to work around that, because Malak is just a beast. So a common one, you might see it then, is having Grandmaster Yoda there just for the outspeeding purposes, that you get him to go first, put the tenacity, the buff spread, and then that gives you a chance to overcome when their Bastila tries to put fear and everything. So offensively, you're going to see a lot of these different comps for that reason. People trying to figure out, how can I defeat these other teams? What do I have? What can I do? Some combinations, I see people trying to use Traya with Darth Revan also. I mean, it's kind of weird, but it works for some people. Like you just... the best one, of course, is those main 5, with Malak. If they have the speed advantage and the damage, a Gear 13 Marauder can one-shot your Malak, for instance. It can be pretty scary. So it's just coming down again to what the arenas are like, what people have at their disposal. If they don't want to try a different counter entirely, they just try to modify their Darth Revan teams to keep up against whatever arena you're in. So like Malak, again, a lot of people are waiting for Malak's event to return. So in my arena, there's a lot of people without Malak, so they have to get creative without him. But I'm seeing people win without him. I mean, granted, it's not going to be as good on defense usually, unless it's so that's generally why people just have to adapt. And I've seen some interesting combos. One of my shard mates just Gear 13 his Canderous, so he randomly has Canderous with his Darth Revan.
Was it good old Maurice?
No, he's not on my shard. That was a shard mate. Hey, I wonder if he does have a Gear 13. You think so? Yeah.
I think good old Maurice did Gear 13 his Canderous. I'm not 100%. I'm gonna look right now, but I believe he did. He is a fan of candy, but he tells people not to do as he does. Fair,
he does get a very good offense boost, and so if you have the if you want, it can be pretty fun. But all yeah, right. The point is just, there's variety of people to work with.
Next question. Sure.
Yeah, it's Finn. There's another question.
Give me a second. Sorry, Ranger, I'm lagging. If you can do the next question.
I don't even know where you were at. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, if you can handle it. Yeah, I just started lagging. Sorry. I have everything marked. It's 29 to Warrior.
We're in Discord?
Yeah, and stream questions.
Okay, give me a second.
Sorry, I think I'm good now. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, we've heard.
Sorry, I just had a
You're coming in
weird.
fine.
Okay, I had a weird internet thing that just told me it was unstable. It was bizarre. Okay, so next question for Warrior. Question from JLY9, and his question is: I've heard Jedi training ray resistance is a counter for the Geonosians, but I keep getting destroyed by them even though I have Gear 12 resistance. How does Jedi training ray counter Geos?
That is a great question. The people that I know that are beating it are using Jedi Training Ray and 4 droids. And, they use T3 to regenerate the protection and health on Chopper and Chopper taunts and dispels. And it's kind of about weathering that initial onslaught and then getting that going through Jedi Training Ray's mind tricks and ability blocking. And then she puts the healing immunity down and you calls to assist, and you kind of have to get burst damage. And the thing is with them is if you can do burst damage, if you kill them, there's no equalization. The equalization occurs after damage is dealt, so it goes damage then equalization. So if your damage is enough to kill, then they're dead. But if you do crippling damage and you don't kill them, then they just equalize, and you're like, oh crap, and they're regenerating health and protection at the same time. So it's a difficult team to beat. I have not used it. I've seen a couple people try and lose and go, what the hey? Just like you're doing. I don't think it's as stable a counter as people think it is, but it does work. But I think it's a lot of people are using the same JTR team they used to use for bounty hunters. If you've got 4 droids, you normally get to go first, and with that jump, you can mind tricks their Geo Brute Alpha, and then you can start everything kind of going after that. So, I would try it with 4 droids, do like JTR, R2D2, BB-8, Chopper, T3, or IPD, something like that, and you'll probably have more success than using like Poe and Finn and exposes and things like that.
Yeah, the one character that I'm glad I have her Gear 12 because she's amazing against them. Admiral Holdo. AoE Days is your friend. It really is. That sucker lands and the Geonosians don't know what to do with themselves.
All right. Next question for Adastra from SirBoss73, and the question is: can a slower CLS team beat a mediocre but faster Darth Revan team?
Most likely not. The whole thing with the CLS counter is you need to have that opening moves before their Darth Revan fears you. Like, it's important that you kill off you want to kill off Fallen Bastila before she gets her special on you. I mean, you want to get your momentum going before they do. Even if they aren't heavily modded, if they're going before you, that team is just so powerful that in my trials of using CLS counter versus Darth Revan, as soon as they go, it's disgusting how powerful they can be, and they'll just destroy you. So if they get their movements before you do, it's like, good luck. You just need to get the initial speed there. You have to be faster than their Darth Revan. You're counting on the resists though, so you can be within a percentage, assuming you get some of the resists when you use Han's opening hits. But if they go before you can kill anyone off, you're pretty much dead. Like, they just run through you like nothing. But if you manage to kill, say, Bastila or HK, then it's okay if Revan goes, because you're gonna counter into him. It's just mainly if Bastila gets to go, like, because she lands all those debuffs on you. You're just gonna get one hit KO'd when they do their AoEs on you. So it's like what's a good analogy there? I mean, it's a very powerful counter if you have the speed to handle it.
What if you can kill Fallen Bastila with just the opening salvo of Han being assisted with Chewie and maybe a 3PO for the expose for extra damage?
Yeah, that's exactly. I Gear 13'd my Han and Chewie, and for that reason, I was kind of curious. Like, okay, even if I'm outsped, I wonder just killing off Bastila before they go and land their fear on me. But yeah, you have to kill her before it happens. It's very contingent on that. So you need to go all in on. I haven't tried it because I'm trying to keep the speed somewhat respectable. But now that the Darth Revans in my arena are way faster, I'm gonna try that route and just go all in on high offense and see if I can just kill off their Bastila on that first opening salvo, and then maybe it can be a little more reliable counter without having the insane speed boosts, because it's, unless I go all in on those mods tier 13 by CLS, it's very hard to overcome the speed of a decked out Revan team. So I think that'd be worth experimenting with, just going all in on the offense, because they get some really strong boosts. Like Han and Chewie, they get a really respectable offense boost. Like I'm destroying things with them. Like, it's a lot of fun. But again, Darth Revan teams just being so fast. I haven't used it against the Darth Revan team lately, but I'll give that a try, and maybe I'll post something about it, or to do a nice clickbait video. One hit KO Darth Revan team.
OP. I'm kind of waiting for that day now. Okay.
Right?
All right. Next question for Warrior from Fat Tony 99, and the question is: do I put a speed arrow or a health arrow on Daka? Mine's currently sitting at 78,000 health and 260 speed using a speed arrow, currently at gear 13 with a Zeta.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like it.
So keep it with the speed arrow then in your
Yeah, he's almost 80,000 health already. Why? The faster is more turns, faster is better. But there's people that have like that speed and they're at like 58,000 health. Well, then I would swap. But for you, because you got 78,000 health and that speed, I would not change a thing. That's awesome.
There we go. Okay, so I'll give you another one here, Warrior, which is a little bit similar to that. So Danilo Papayas is asking about the Sith Empire team, and his question is about mods. He says, Grand Ivory is suggesting mod placement that speed-wise would put Darth Revan at 290, Fallen Bastila at 261, HK at 200, Marauder at 285, and Trooper at 226. Should Fallen Bastila not be the fastest, and what is the best order?
Yeah, this is a 10-minute conversation. So I'll try to be quicker than that. So there's lots of different trains of thought, and it bases off of what you're facing. So initially, when Sith Empire, when we started getting it like dialed in, everybody said like whoever has the fastest Darth Revan will win. So everybody put their fastest mod set on Darth Revan, and they played. Well, then after a few weeks, you came to realize through side effects of losing that the other team had a faster Bastila, and you were like, huh, okay, so a faster Bastila helps because it locks out the other team from debuffs. So then the train of thought became the fastest Bastila, because your Bastila goes first, she locks out the opposing team, and your win rate goes up drastically, even if you don't have the fastest Revan. Now, obviously, it would be nice to have the fastest Darth Revan and her. Well, then walked in Malik, and Malik, just like every character, it takes months to really figure out like ideal, perfect modding. People try to fast Malik, and then they realize like, oh, maybe tenacity and offense is better. So they went to tenacity and offense, and speed became less important. But then recently, people realized if they had really fast mod sets, like you're in the like 163 and 165 plus speeds, you could actually put your fastest speed set on Malik, your second fastest speed set on Revan, and what happens is, as long as those two speed sets are faster than like basically everybody on your shard, as long as you have two sets, you just need two fast sets, which I don't have. I have one set only. So I'll tell you how I do it. But for now, if you have the two fastest speed sets, you can put the fastest on Malik and the second fastest on Revan. What happens is Malik slides across the table, hits Sith Trooper in the face, dispels him, and then Darth Revan jumps, hits the other Darth Revan, and the whole team gets speared. You're effed. It doesn't even matter your speeds at that point, because now their entire team gets to take turns, debuff your entire team, and even if you had the fastest Bastila, you're still screwed regardless. So even if you focus on the form of having the fastest Bastila, you're still gonna lose. So what I have had to do, because I have one set over 150, that's it, one set over 150. Some of the guys on my leaderboard have 2 or 3 or 4 sets over 150. So I, bottom line, had to go to put my fastest set on Revan again, even though I know that my Basti gets outran and I a lot of times lose my buffs. All I do now is play more intentionally. But what happens is I've got, like I said, 4 people at minimum that have a faster Malak and Revan. And so what happens is Malak goes, the Revan goes, I lose. Matter of fact, I lose 3 characters before I take a turn. That's how bad it is. And I got a Gear 13 team. So the only solution that I have found that works, aside from plugging in stupid characters like Han Solo or Yoda, I hate doing that. Like, I want to be able to win mono-a-mono, like same team versus same team. So what I did is I went back to the original train of thought of having the fastest Revan. The reason is, their idea is, of course, their Malak goes first and their Revan goes second. Well, if I smash their Sith Trooper and their Revan, all Malak does is slide across and dispel. Okay, so what? If you happen to have a second fast set, then you would put that second fastest set on Basti. But this all depends on your leaderboard, where you sit mod-wise in comparison to other people. A good default, if you're not like number 1 every day, a good default is just have the fastest Bastila. You'll get the best results 9 out of 10 times. If you run into those teams where they're killing you before you even take a turn and you're losing 2 or 3, you're probably needing to put your fastest set back onto Revan. And if you're blessed with having the best mods in the world and you're one of those guys, then you have your Malak first and then Revan second, and you will win on defense 99% of the time, and you will not fall out of the top 5. It's what happens with these 4 people that are in my top 5. They just don't move. Nobody can beat them. Unless you switch your fastest Revan, like I did. And I have beat them very successfully, even with a slower Bastila and even with a slower Malak. And I kept my Malak with high tenacity, 150+%. He gets almost 200% over 200% tenacity once he's leveled up, and because of his buff. And I got massive offense on him. I mean, mine hits for 150 to 180k easily on his special, and on his basic hit for 50 to 70k. So offense is a big deal.
All right, we have one more question for Adastra, and then we have a couple of group questions and fun questions that we'll be able to speed through. So, Adastra, here's the last main question for our segment here. Question. We have 2 questions very similar to each other. First one from Apropos Wuin says, question, with no Gear 13s yet, should I start? And assuming 4.5 million GP, who should I focus on? And Helenix asks, I still haven't brought a single character to Gear 13. I'm 4.5 million GP, day 1 player. So far, this hasn't been a quote-unquote bad decision. How long do you think people like me should have to, or should wait to have a Gear 13? And you're on mute, Adastra, if you're talking.
Oh, I thank you. I was taking care of something, and so that I didn't realize I was on mute. So thank you very much.
Yes, you all missed her answer, so good luck.
And that is all. No, but sorry. So I was saying that it's not necessarily a bad thing that you don't have a Gear 13 yet. I mean, I know it's like all the rage now, and it does add a lot. But if you're focusing on other stuff right now, that's okay. Like, get your main teams up to par, get the, enough time has passed now that we do know some of the more powerful Gear 13. Like the dust has sort of settled. So now you know some of the top Gear 13 characters, such as General Grievous is one of the best ones, bang for your buck, so to speak. And he's relevant for the GOTV. So if you want to go after like characters that hit all the areas of gameplay, you can go that route. So like, again, Grievous is a good one for that. For Arena, a lot of people, of course, are doing their Darth Revan teams because that's the Arena team right now. And it's a contest of trying to one up the opponents, get the better speed, get the better strength, get the better, everything. So it kind of comes down to a personal preference of what your focus is in the game. If you're all about the TV, then your Gear 13 priorities should reflect that. So you can enjoy that more. You'll do better in each phase. You'll have a lot of fun seeing the damage output being increased. They all get good stats from the Gear 13, from the piece itself, and then from upgrading them to the Gear 13. But if you really want to just focus on getting the best out of it, then yeah, you look at the competitive play. If you're more into that scene, so to speak, you want to make sure your arena team is doing well. But if you're already taking rank 1, you're going up against these other Gear 13s and you're doing just fine with your Gear 12 team, you don't have to rush as much for that. I mean, I know people that just get Gear 13 their arena team just because, like, it's just the thing to do. So, but you don't have to do it that way. I mean, obviously, and then someone like me, Jedi is my obsession, so I Gear 13 some Jedi right away. I mean, I make use of them, so it wasn't just a luxury that I enjoy it. And then other teams for GW, Grand Arena, and again, the GeoTV, Nightsisters, like do dark side teams, and then you'll hit all those different marks too. So, I mean, that's how I kind of look at it. I like getting the most worth out of a Gear 13 because it takes so much to get that piece, especially if you're free to play. It's going to take you a while to farm up each of the pieces or buy it out of the shop with crystals you save up from getting your top ranks. Hopefully, you're competitive in arenas to help you with that income. So then you just kind of have to look at what will benefit you the most, but also what will give you the most enjoyment too. What part of this game do you like the most? And that can kind of help drive you to what your very first Gear 13 is going to be, get the most push out of it. So you just kind of look at your roster, where you're at, what you like to do. And then again, with Gear 13 having been out X amount of time now, there's some good guides out there. I believe there is a post even that shows all the effects of taking this character to Gear 13. So if you just want to look at it from a data standpoint, you can see which characters benefit the most. So, I mean, there's a lot of resources now that if you want to be more analytical about it, but otherwise just do what you enjoy.
There you go. All right, Finn.
All right, let's go into the group questions here, and we'll kind of go through these quickly. So the first one is from Darth. Oh, by the way, really quick, make sure that you do give us a thumbs up if you guys like the content, and check out Adastra and Warriors channels. If you guys haven't, make sure you subscribe. They're in the description of the video. So group questions. First one, Darth 1972. Question for the panel: with CG Carrie's departure, what is the one thing you'd want the new producer to change or change with the game? Personally, I'd like to see more value for middle spenders. We'll go around the corner. We'll kind of keep the same order. Warrior, what would be the one thing you want to see in the game?
Well, I mean, everybody wants to see new content. Everybody wants to see them, focused on that kind of stuff. So I guess I won't use that because I think everybody assumes that we all need and want that new content. Or honestly, I think that they do actually a super terrible job at marketing their game to their people. I think the reason why they're so successful is straight up Star Wars, period. Mm-hmm. I've never had a game in my life where I played where I was so mad about spending but felt so obligated to spend. Where other games, I don't feel obligated to spend, but I want to spend. There are other games where I actually get to that point where I'm just like, I really want to buy that $10 pack. Microtransactions are just that. They're micro. They're supposed to be, a death by 1,000 cuts. You're supposed to spend $5, $10, things like that. And in this game, that just doesn't plumb even exist. It's like $100, $50 kind of thing. So really kind of a miss in my eyes. And so my biggest thing has always been that if they really want that push from the community to kind of take it to the next level, they have to think bigger than what they're thinking. Instead of milking 5% of the population. They should milk 95% of the population. Even if the ring is significantly less, it ends up becoming more. And we know this because of like Clash Royale and other games, that do this model very, very well. The reason is if everybody enjoys spending, more people do it, and people don't have anger with the developers, and they desire to spend because they feel like they're actually getting something for their money. So for me, the first thing I would institute if I was hiring or knew that person is I would say, bring back a $10 monthly subscription, a VIP service, where they pay $10 and they get their 50 crystals a day, like back in the day. And in fact, they could be super generous and do 100 crystals a day. There's no reason not to. At this point in game, they need it to spike up, not continue to drop down. So they've got to create something that's like, wow, that's a huge value. 100 crystals a day or 50 crystals a day for only $10. I could do $10. And all of a sudden, people that are free-to-players are not quite actually free-to-play anymore. They've actually gone into the small mini dolphin realm, and there's now 100,000 of those people. Well, that makes up, the potential of a few whales that just quit. You know what I mean? And so you've just got to look at things from a different perspective. You could always offer a $100 pack with 3 pieces of gear in it, and whales are still going to buy it. You don't have to give up that realm, but you got to think bigger, and you got to think, why don't we do multiple offerings? Why don't we do free-to-play offerings, dolphin offerings? True genius in companies, and I know this because I had a lot of games, but one of them was super genius at this, was Polarium, and Polarium makes a lot of games, and Polarium they're Israeli-based, and they're super smart. They start everyone off with a $1.99 pack, and it's like the stupidest value you could imagine. Think about like them giving you Darth Vader on day one for $2, and you're like, oh my god, seriously? And then the next pack's $4.99, and then the next pack is $7.99, and then the next pack is $14.99, and then the next pack is $19.99. And it just slowly goes up until all of a sudden you find everyone in your game is spending $100 a pop. People start to realize that's not good for them, so they back off, stop spending. The computer algorithm realizes that character is not spending, and so it starts to offer those lower rates again. And it finds that magical number for each client that's willing to spend. So if all you ever buy is the $4.99 pack, it learns that and starts only offering you $4.99 packs because it wants everyone to spend. So it has to find that magical thing. Now, there are some people that'll play that will never spend. But if you see a stupid good deal for $4.99 and it's always offered and you always buy it, they're going to continue to offer that. That's genius because they get a 70+% participation rate. They make trillions of dollars in their gaming, and all of their games are extremely successful. Are they the number one or in the always top 10 in Google Play? No, but they have a game that's 8 years mobile that's still as successful as Star Wars financially right now. So I mean, I think there's something to be said about that kind of a model. So I would change their offerings, how they market. I think the EA marketing team honestly sucks. I think they think too one level, and they don't think better. And I think they've got the engineering behind it. They just don't have the outside the box thinking. So I've made lots of offers, and sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't. But if somebody likes to spend $2, let them spend $2. If somebody likes to spend $50, let them spend $50. If you got that person that's spending $100 3 times in this week, give them $100 packs. Make it worth his while, though. Give him extra crystals for spending $100. Pat him on the back. Call him a good boy. You know what I mean? Like, treat your clients that are spending money like they deserve to be treated because they're supporting the game. And you get more participants in the spending realm.
All right. Adastra, what are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, to that point, in general, yeah, it would be nice if it was more accessible to the general populace, not just that top 5%, whatever the percent is that's, throwing money at the game like crazy. Like, I see it all the time, highly requested to get that crystal subscription pack back, that you got the 100 crystals a day. People love that one. People that didn't spend on the game, they would buy that one because it was long term, it was worthwhile, but they got rid of it. I don't know if they'll ever get something like that back again. However, in general too, to make it worth your while of purchasing stuff, I mean, they just the prices, they keep going up and up, and that kind of deters some people too of, buying a character, buying the gear stuff. It seems like they cap out at the 100, because I remember when we heard the Gear 13 stuff was coming out, I was like, oh god, this pack is gonna be like $200, to get a Gear 13. But I guess they cap out at 100, so because they offered it at that instead. But I mean, yeah, it's nice though that it has a lot of free to play elements that you can still, but there is that pressure there, like the gap between pay to play and free to play seems to be kind of large at times, and I don't know what they can do to address that other than giving more of those smaller, like that crystal pack that's more accessible to people that don't throw money like crazy at the game. But personally, I mean, it's been shot down, so it's something I'll forever want that this game will never do, is like a sandbox mode. I've requested that over and over and over, but they said no, because it's not worth their while. It's not a way they're going to make a ton of money off of it. Even though I feel like they are very good at getting, sucking out money from people if they want. So I feel like they could have a balance with it. But, I mean, that's where at least Grand Arena, you're kind of free to try things there, but you still want to win, so you're not quite as free to test stuff. Like, I thought it would be cool to have, like, an in-guild testing area, so where you guys can fight each other and have, like, a ranking system in there, and I don't know, they could charge you crystals to use X amount of battles, just like an arena, but I think a sandbox mode would just be a breath of fresh air, and for people like me that love testing different combinations, but, in arena, you can't really test everything against a Darth Revan team, so it's, and Galactic Wars has been nerfed to hell, so you can't really test stuff there in the late game, So it's like, even having a second tier Galactic War would be welcome, for the end game people, give us more of a challenge, just somewhere to test some of the non-arena OP meta teams.
Alright, Ranger, any thoughts from you?
Let's get to the fun questions.
Okay. I was gonna just tack on really quick.
No comment.
With what Warrior said.
We say it all the time in our streams and stuff, so there's no point rehashing it here.
Yeah, there is one thing I wanted to add on to what Warrior said, and this is kind of taking something that I've seen in two of the other games, mobile games that I play a lot, like Tactical Monsters and Clash of Clans. They sell a pack that not only do you get crystals, but then you provide something in game that can give your guildmates, and that's usually like the first thing I'll always buy, because I can get myself whatever the currency is, crystals, gems, whatever it is in those games, and then also like everyone in the guild can go into the chat, click on a button, they gain like 10 crystals or something too. So I think something like that at a
cool.
cheap.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have the team mentality. A lot of what EA does is very individual focused, right? There's nothing that provides any benefit to the entire guild. Guilds are just kind of there right now. So I think that could be something they could potentially leverage and make some money off of. And I think people would buy stuff like that to help their full guild, especially if they're able to. So, okay. Next question, JLY9, question for the panel. What's the strangest defense composition you faced that left you wondering what to do? Mine was what was it? Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, Crew, 3PO, and Traya or something. It was an auto set.
Yeah, those auto set
Yeah,
teams,
auto set
right?
teams is pretty much where you go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't take them too lightly because they have like all these meta characters. You just know that they can't do anything on offense if they have to attack you, but there's some pretty weird teams that I've seen on there.
Yeah, sometimes they could give you some good ideas too. Like some are just like, whoa, I never would have thought of that, for obvious reasons. You're splitting up some meta stuff. But some of them can be kind of tricky, like having the two basilisks together. Like that's usually can be ugly depending on who their leader is. But having both basilisks together is sometimes a weird one.
I don't know, getting your ass beat by two hot twins would be kind of nice.
The Eternal Twins?
I said twins, not the Eternal Twins, you son of a bitch.
All right. Next question, paparazzi question: how soon is RSG going to be selling a Porg edition Eatcot plushie, and how can I send one to Ranger?
Yes.
I mean, you can send it to me, and I will literally put it on stream and burn it.
I kind of want to see that now.
You want to see me burn
With
that?
love. You'll burn it with love.
I'm gonna burn it with love.
We'll know you do that.
I'll
because
be
you
in my
Essex
Darth
City.
Revan costume, and I will be just doing horrible,
Yep, and the
Yeah, with
smoke
love.
from that
I mean,
will
that
last
is
in your room
that is
forever.
dedication right there.
No, that's pure hate. That's hate.
No, its essence is going to be in your room forever because you burned it right there. You'll never forget it. All right, question from Durgan for Adastra. When CG Adastra takes over as head of SWGOH, will we ever get any other characters besides Jedi?
The Jedi
No.
will reign forever.
Don't worry, I'll be hired at the same time, and we'll have the light and the dark side represented. Don't worry. Curtail some of that crap.
Kazekage to easy question for Warrior. How many Porgs need to be sacrificed to get Darth Revan and an Eathcot Zeta? Or to get Darth Malik back and an Eathcot Zeta?
None. You saw Chewie. He couldn't do it. He couldn't bring himself to eat them, and neither we can't bring ourselves to sacrifice them.
I
There we
can.
go.
I can. I'm sorry, I can, and I'll eat them too. Little salt, little pepper, a little bit of hot sauce.
Awful.
But yes, an Eathcot Zeta though. Oh, that'll be a glorious day if that happens.
Yeah, it'd be great.
All right, and then last question, relevant to that as well. Very Porg-oriented question. Joey Spencer, question: does Ranger wake up thinking about Porgs as a nightmare, or his final ascendance into the I got a 20+ secondary mod club dream more?
No, it's depression. It's mod depression. Porgs don't ever enter my purview of things that come to my brain, but Depression by Calvin Klein. Mods. It's real.
All right, so those are all of our questions for today. We had a lot of questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but thank you for all of you guys that put in questions, and now we'll let everyone pimp their stuff, starting with Warrior.
You check me out on Warrior Presents and Warriors Roster Reviews on YouTube here every Saturday morning, on Twitter daily, and sometimes randomly throughout the week in other shows. Obviously, you can follow my Scissorman account for a more free-to-play perspective, or you can, ask away questions on main account, things like that. So, been having fun. I'm glad I'm on the show. I appreciate you guys having me on, and hope everybody has a great coming up week.
Thank you, Warrior.
Well
And
said, laddie.
And now, Adastra.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube as well, Jedi Master Adastra, where I post mainly Jedi-themed content, Galactic Republic, and Jedi Knight Revan, being the more recent stuff. Padme, of course, with all the things you can run there. And occasionally Sith Raid videos, but the Sith Raid isn't really seems as relevant anymore, so I haven't really posted anything about that. However, Jedi content, 90%, 99% Jedi content.
Shocking.
Yeah. Or you can find me on Discord and various channels, of course. RSG, the Jedi server, the Galactic Republic server, and then on here occasionally when I can make it to the show. Always happy to be a part of it. It's a lot of fun answering these various questions, and hope everyone's weekend and week is awesome and Jedi rule.
Oh, get a room, you and the Jedi. Jeez.
Hey, it's the time of the Jedi.
Well, I mean, in the room
kind
there.
of.
Yeah.
That's right.
Science. God. All right, and if you're watching this, you are watching the Jedi Academy on the Reality Skewed Gamers. Do me a favor, folks, those that are watching us right now, give us a thumbs up on the video and subscribe. And don't do that just for us, as Finn said very elegantly. Please go to these other channels. These folks take time out of their busy days and schedules to be here for you, to answer your questions and help you make your game experience better. They don't have to do it, but they do it because they love the game. So show some love back. Go to their channels, give them thumbs up, subscribe to their channels as well. It's really important to support the content creators out there in the community. Give them feedback. It's always a good thing. And then do the same thing for us. And for today, are we doing Pictionary tonight, Finn?
Yeah, we should be able to do that.
Okay, well, Finn may be doing that because my back is out. So I'm in a lot of pain.
There might be a few things. I have a couple things to do this morning, but also make sure that you do check us out on Twitch. We're having kind of unique content on both, right? So we're doing stuff on YouTube. We're also starting to do some random stuff on Twitch. Yesterday, Jedi Consular Finn made his, I think it's his official RSG appearance. So he was there, and you guys can watch that. That's on Twitch channel. There should be, I'm planning on later today, maybe around like 7 or 8 o'clock on Twitch, assembling the next segment of my Lego Porg. So you guys can join. It's just a good time just to hang out, chat. That'll probably be like a just chatting stream, and then we'll do Pictionary later, all of that. So make sure that you do check us out on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/RealitySkewGamers.
And then we got the D&D campaign. Also, we'll be doing GAC tomorrow for the fans out there, our second round. Make sure you check out our boy Urs. He should be streaming his GAC tonight. If he's now, he won't be on time, but he will sometime after 9:30 p.m. usually is when he does that. So make sure you check that out. Who else? There's too many content creators that I can think of. It's ridiculous.
Also, make sure you subscribe to Xylo. He dropped by. He was trying. We need to.
Oh
try
yeah.
His mic fixed. So, but do make sure that you subscribe to Xylo. I think I have his information.
Should be
if
in there.
not, I'm gonna add it right afterwards.
Can you add Paul from the Escape Podcast? And
So,
please,
really
God,
quick, on
Jesus,
that note,
please.
You just reminded me of something. We are planning on updating our skins for a lot of our different streams and everything. So if you guys have any suggestions on what you would like to see while we have Jedi Academy going, right now we just have some fun graphics and stuff to kind of occupy your eyes. But if you guys have anything in particular you would want to see as we're talking about different things, let us know about that too, and we'll try to incorporate that in the next kind of visual update for Jedi Academy.
I feel that I'm going to be spending many hours of my life wasted with Finn.
Actually, no. It's actually going to be simpler.
No, Finn, you're such a liar. Every time, I hate when you say that. Because Finn's like, oh, this will be quick. It'll be, I'm taking my time at all. And the next 5 hours later, I'm like,
you're not wrong. I do tend to do that.
Yeah, son of a. All right, so thank you guys for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. With that, on behalf of the Academy, thank you for being here. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you soon. Peace out.